Hello beautiful people, my name is Chinaza Victory and you're welcome back to Nazi Styles YouTube channel. In the next few minutes, you're going to learn how to cut and sew a wide leg palazzo pant with elastic waistband and drawstring. If this sounds like something you're interested in, please don't go anywhere. Let's move straight into the video. I'll be making use of this beautiful African print, popularly known as Ankara fabric in Nigeria, but you can make use of any fabric of your choice. I also have my scissors, my tape rule, my chalk and my ruler. I'm going to be cutting the front part of the trouser first, and I have folded my fabric into two. To determine the wideness of the fabric to fold for the front part of the trouser, we are going to be doing a little calculation. Please pay close attention. The first calculation I am going to do is my hip circumference divided by 4 plus the amount of ease I want in the trouser. Now this totally depends on you. It totally depends on how big or how wide you want your trouser to be. For me, my hip circumference is already on the big side, so I wouldn't add anything that is more than 1 inch to it. So I'll be adding 1 inch ease to mine plus extra 1.5 inches for the seam allowance. This 1.5 inches, I'll be using 0.75 out of it for the crotch area and 0.75 for the side seam. Altogether we have 1.5 inches. So by the time I calculate all this, I'll be having 15 inches. I will set it aside. Now the second measurement I'll be calculating is my front crotch extension, and this is gotten by dividing your hip circumference by 20, and my own is 2.5 inches. Now this 2.5 inches plus the 15 inches that we already calculated earlier, altogether I'll be having 17.5 inches. Now this is what you're going to fold. Now instead of me to fold exactly on this 17.5, I folded about 19 inches, so I'll still have a little space there in case of necessity. I hope you understand this explanation. I'll start by ruling a straight line at the top of the fabric this way. This line will serve as the waistline and also the borderline where all my vertical measurements will be taken from. The first measurement I am going to be taking is my crotch depth. Okay, for some people, their hip circumference divided by 4 works perfectly well for their crotch depth, while for some it doesn't really work. Now the best way to get your crotch depth is by simply tying a rope around your waistline where you normally keep your trouser when you wear it. Then you sit on a flat surface, measure from that rope to that flat surface. That is how to get your crotch depth. And for me, each of my trouser, most of the time they have different crotch depth depending on where I want to keep the trouser for that particular period of time. So for this particular trouser, my crotch depth is 13 inches according to where I want to place it around my waistline. Okay, so I will raise my tape by 1 inch. This is because I'll be using an elastic which is 1 inch wide for this trouser. So I'll raise my tape by 1 inch and mark 13 inches. Okay, and this 1 inch is resting on top of that waistline, the very first line I ruled across the fabric at the top of the fabric there. So I'll keep marking the 13 inches from that line while my tape is raised by 1 inch. Then I'll go ahead and connect all the marks together. The next measurement I am going to mark right now is the length of the trouser, and I'll also be raising the tape by 1 inch before marking out the length of this trouser. There will be no need for the knee line here because this is a wide leg palazzo trouser, so the knee measurement is not really that important. So I'll proceed to mark out the length of the trouser, and the length I am working with for this tutorial is 41.5 inches. I'll go ahead and mark that, then I'll connect all the marks together. From the length of the trouser, I'm going to mark the hem allowance of 2 inches. So this hem allowance will be used to fold the trouser at the down part. The next measurement I am going to mark right now is the hip line, and remember I will still raise my tape by 1 inch. Okay, then I'll proceed to mark out the hip line of 10 inches. I will do this and then connect all the marks using my straight ruler. For the horizontal measurement, starting from the folded parts of the fabric, I am going to measure and mark my hip circumference divided by 4 plus extra 1 inch ease. Remember, I mentioned that this ease depends on how wide you want it. You can add any amount of ease you want, whether 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches, even up to 5 inches. But for me, because my hip circumference is already on the big side, I am using just 1 inch because I don't want the trouser to be too big at the down part at the end of the day. Now plus that 1 inch plus extra 1.5 inches for the same allowance. I mentioned this earlier. Altogether I have 15 inches. I'll mark that 15 inches on the waistline, on the hip line, and on the crotch line. Okay, then I'll proceed to connect all the marks together using my straight ruler. On the crotch line, I am going to mark my front crotch extension, which is gotten by my hip circumference divided by 20, and that will give me 2.5. So I'll proceed to mark 2.5 inches there. Then I'll come over to the hip line. I'll come out by 0.25 inch. This will enable me have a smooth curve around there. Then I'll pick up my curve ruler and connect these marks and blend it into the vertical line I have there this way. On the crotch line, starting from the folded part of the fabric, I am going to check the measurement I have from that point to where I have my front crotch extension, and it's giving me 17.5 inches. Now you have the choice to mark exactly this 17.5 inches on the hem of the trouser and connect it all the way, or if you don't want it this wide at the down part, you also have the liberty to reduce it at this point. For someone like me that is already big, I wouldn't want the down part to be too big, right? So I'll be removing 2.5 inches from this figure. I'll be left with 15 inches. That's exactly what I am going to mark at the down part of this trouser. So starting from the folded parts of the fabric, I'll proceed to mark 15 inches on the hemline. Then I'll come in with my ruler and connect this 15 inches all the way up to where I have my front crotch extension. So we are done with the front part of the trouser. The next thing is to go ahead and cut it out. While you're cutting, remember to slash open these folded parts of the fabric to give us 2 pieces for the front part of the trouser. If you're yet to subscribe to my channel, I think this is the best time to do that. And please tell me what you think about this tutorial in the comment section. Thank you so much. For the back part of the trouser, I have placed my fabric on fold. Now to get the fold for the back, remember how many inches we folded for the front, right? Just add extra 5 inches to that one we folded for the front. That will give you a perfect fold for the back. And you know that the back part of the trouser is usually wider than the front part. Okay? So I'm going to come in with the front part of the trouser that we just finished cutting now, and I'll be placing it on top of this folded fabric for the back. Now when you place it, ensure that you have some space at the side of the trouser and also around the crotch extension. Ensure that you have up to 2.5 inches around the side and 2.5 inches towards the crotch side of the trouser. Another thing to check is the hem. Make sure that the hem is very straight. The way you placed it, make sure that it is very straight. If not, if you don't check all these things, you will see that your trouser will not be equal when you're done sewing. But if you check all these little things, trust me, you will get a perfect trouser at the end of the day. I'll first of all extend the horizontal lines so that they will also appear on the fabric I am using for the back part of the trouser. So I'll pick up my ruler now and go ahead and extend the waistline towards the side, then the hip line and also the crotch line. After that, I will gently lift up the front part of the trouser, then extend the lines very well on the back part this way. When you're lifting up the front part, please be careful not to scatter the way you arranged it earlier. It's very important. You can use your pins to hold it down. After that, I arranged the front part of the trouser the way it was at the beginning. On the front crotch line, starting from that vertical line I have there, not the front crotch extension, no, that line that is before the extension, I'll come in by 1 inch and place a mark there. After that, I'll come over to the front waist, okay? At the center front, I am going to come in by 2 inches and place a mark there as well. Now I am supposed to connect these 2 marks on the back part of the trouser, and for me to be able to do that, I'll first of all transfer the marks to the fabric I am using for the back part of the trouser, and I will do this with the help of my pin. So I'm going to get my pin right now so that by the time I pierce through that mark, the pin will show on the other fabric, then I will place my mark there. You see what I am doing, right? I'll just use my pin and pierce through that place so that it will show me where I'm supposed to mark on the back part of the fabric. This is just my own little trick. Then I'll come to the waistline and also mark the same place, okay? Now the next thing I'm going to do is to carefully raise up the front part of the trouser again so that I can connect these 2 marks on the back part of the fabric. So I'll proceed to do that now. After that, I'll return the front part to its position. Now remember the mark I just placed on the waistline. Starting from that mark, I'll go up by 1 inch to accommodate the butt. So sometimes I normally use 1.5 or even 2 inches, but I want to use just 1 inch for this. 1 inch should be okay for an average person. If the butt is too big, you can make use of 2 inches so that it will accommodate well. So from that part where I went up by 1 inch, I am going to be placing the measurement I have on my front waistline. I'll first of all check what I have on my front waistline, and I have 15 inches there. So I'll come over to the back part of the trouser. Starting from the part where I went up by 1 inch, I'll be marking 15 inches so that I can get my back waistline, okay? You see where I started my measurement from the crotch area, right? Towards the side. Now I have my back waistline. I'll go ahead and connect the 2 marks together. Then I'll come over to the back crotch line. But before I mark anything, I'll first of all check the measurement I have on the front crotch line, excluding the front crotch extension, and I have 15 inches as well. Remember, right? So I'll be placing that 15 inches on that part, starting from the center back, starting from the crotch area, okay? Starting from that vertical line I have on the back part of this trouser towards the side, I'll mark the 15 inches. I will now connect these 2 marks together on the waistline and the one on the crotch line. Next measurement is the crotch back extension, and this can be gotten by dividing my hip circumference by 10. So my hip circumference divided by 10 is 5 inches. So starting from the vertical line on that back crotch line, I will measure 5 inches and place a mark there. Okay, I'll place a mark there. Now for me to connect the back crotch curve, I am going to be coming out from the hip line by 0.25 as usual, just like we did for the front. Then I'll proceed to use my free hand to connect it. Instead of using a curve ruler this time, I'll use my free hand to just connect it. So I'll come over to the side of the trouser. On the back crotch line, remember the mark I already have there, that 15 inches mark. I am going to be connecting it all the way to the hem. Okay, I'll connect it all the way to come and meet the front part at the hem. Okay, so I'll proceed to do that now. The next thing is to add 1 inch to the inseam of the back trouser. Remember, the back trouser is supposed to be wider than the front part of the trouser. So I'll proceed to add 1 inch to the inseam. Around the hem, I'll add 1 inch. Okay, I'll come up and keep adding 1 inch till I get to where the back trouser crotch extension stops. I'll come in with my long ruler and connect all the marks all the way to the hem. If you're getting value in this video so far, please help me give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much. So that is all for the back part of this trouser. I'll go ahead and take away this front part and set it aside so that I will be able to cut out the back part following all the lines and marks. The next thing I will do now is to go to my sewing machine and join the crotch area. This is the front crotch. I will go and join it using 0.75 inch. Remember, that was what I marked at the beginning. Then I will do the same thing for the back crotch. I'll go and join it using 0.75 inch as well. So I've gone ahead to join the crotch area for both the back and the front. Then for the front part, I've also gone ahead to fix the front side pockets. On this channel, I have a very detailed tutorial on how to perfectly cut and sew a trouser side pocket. I think you should watch it. I am going to post the link in the description box or in the comment section below. Okay, you should watch it to learn how to make your pockets. The next step is to place the back part and the front part right side facing each other. Then I'll take it to my sewing machine and close up the sides using 0.75. Right? I will do the same thing on the other side of the trouser. I'll place it right side facing each other this way, starting from the waist down to the hem. After joining the sides, the next thing is to join the inseam of the trouser. You first of all match both the front and the back crotch. You match the same line there together at that center. Okay, when you match it together, you pin it down. Then you're going to start sewing 0.75 from one part of that crotch down to the hem, and the other side you sew from one part of the crotch on the other side down to the hem. Now you can choose to finish up the hem of the trouser. What I mean is that you can choose to fold in the down part of the trouser first before sewing the inseam, or you sew the inseam first before sewing the hem of your trouser. Okay, after that, the next thing I'm going to do is to measure around the waistline of the trouser so that I'll get the figure we'll use to cut out the elastic casing. After measuring around the trouser waistline, make sure you add extra 1.5 inches to any figure you get. I've gone ahead to cut out the elastic casing, and the height of this elastic casing is 2 inches. Remember, I'll be making use of 1 inch elastic for this. So the elastic casing, which is also the band in this case, is 2 inches on fold. That means if you open it up, you'll be having 4 inches, but on fold we have 2 inches. I'm going to fold the elastic casing this way into 2, right side facing each other. Starting from the folded part of the elastic casing, I am going to measure the waist circumference, which is the trouser waist, the measurement that we got, right? The trouser waist circumference divided by 2. For example, if you measured 40 inches around the trouser waist, so you're going to divide it by 2, that will give you 20, right? So you'll mark 20 there. You'll notice that I still have some inches left after marking half of the trouser waist measurement. So the next thing I'm going to do, at that point where I have the exact trouser waist measurement, I am going to come down by 2.5 inches and place a mark there. Okay, I'll come down by 2.5 inches and place a mark there. After marking that point, I am going to be coming down by 0.75. From that 2.5 inches, I'll come down by 0.75. After marking the 0.75, I will continue to mark the rest of the band. That 0.75 is going to be the space we'll leave where we'll pass the drawstring. I had to bring it closer to the camera for you to see it. You see that 0.75, I am not going to be sewing on that part. It's going to be open. I'll go over to my sewing machine. I am going to start sewing from the beginning of that line, but I will skip the 0.75 and then continue sewing to the end. For the elastic, I'll be making use of the 1 inch elastic for this trouser. I mentioned that earlier. Then to get the length of the elastic to use, measure your waist circumference, this time around your main waist circumference on your body, divided by 2 plus extra 9 inches. This is because this particular elastic stretches well. It is not the same for the other type of elastic. After going to join the band at where I marked, remember I left the space for the drawstring. Then I cut off some part of the allowance, leaving only 0.5 inch. Then I opened it up and top stitched it on top of the band. As you can see, I top stitched the same allowance flat. Look at that opening. See my finger? You see? That's the opening. Okay, so the next thing I am going to do right now is to fold this band into 2, the way it was folded when I first cut it out. I'll fold it into 2 this way. You see, now I have my elastic casing. Now note that the part that has the opening will be directly on top of the center front of the trouser. Don't make the mistake of doing it wrongly. Now place the elastic casing on the waist of the trouser, right side facing each other, making sure that the part that has the tiny opening is directly on top of the center front of the trouser. Okay, arrange it very well. Take your time to do this. Then you make use of your pins to pin it down at all the corners, at the front, the back side, and the sides. Okay, I also have a separate video on how to perfectly cut and sew an elastic waistband to a trouser on this channel. I'll also leave the link in the description box. So after using my pins to secure the elastic casing to the waist of the trouser, I'll take it to my sewing machine. I'm going to be sewing 0.5 inch around the waistline, leaving a little space around the back part of the trouser where I'll be passing my elastic from. Okay, this is the easiest method. That's why I'm taking my time to really explain this. I'll come in with the elastic with the help of a safety pin. I will insert it from the little space I left at the back part. Okay, I hope you're seeing it. I will insert it right inside the elastic casing until it goes round. So now that I've gotten to the end, I'll place one elastic on top of the other. I'll overlap it and then take it to my sewing machine and go and join it. I'll just sew severally on top of it. Then I'll close up the little opening I left. So after inserting the elastic and closing up the little space at the back, here my elastic is right inside the trouser waistline. So the next thing I'm going to do is to take it back to my sewing machine and run 2 stitches on top of this elastic on the waistline. And for me to be able to do that, I'll use my pins to hold it down at some strategic points. Then I'll be stretching it to sew. I'll first of all sew half of an inch, then I'll skip the 0.75 and sew ½ inch round it again. After that, I'll proceed to insert my drawstring from the center front of the trouser. Remember, I have a detailed tutorial on how to do this. You'll see everything clear. You can proceed to watch that one for better understanding. So my beautiful people, we have come to the end of today's tutorial, and if this video was helpful to you, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Like this video, subscribe to my channel if you're yet to do that, leave a very nice comment below, and then remember to share this video with your friends and your loved ones. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell to get notified each time I post a new video. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you so much for sticking with me. See you in my next video. Bye.